We're going to do a quick overview of the story of action potentials and neuromuscular junctions, the best part of the class.
Okay.
Right? I love it. Okay, we've got a cell. Oh, let me write this up here actually. We've got a lot of sodium in the cell. What do we have a lot of outside the cell?
We have a lot of potassium inside the cell.
Oh, did I say?
Sodium.
We have a lot of potassium in the cell. And a lot of what outside the cell? Sodium. Sorry if you're confused
good.
now.
I understood what you meant, but you said sodium, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
Okay, we've got a sodium-potassium pump. And this is to create what? What's the point of this pump?
It's to fix a concentration gradient.
Yeah, we're trying to create an electrochemical gradient, right? And so when this is working and it's been going for a little bit of time, we finally reach something we call equilibrium. Equilibrium is when the cell's at -70, and what's happened is we have this leak channel. It's leaked out potassium because we're flowing high to low, right? We have low potassium out here compared to what's in there. So we're pumping this potassium out. This potassium is going to stay close to the cell because it's attracted to the negative particles that are in there that just can't escape because they don't have the right charge or size or shape. So eventually we get a higher concentration out here by the leak channels. And the potassium builds up a little bit in here. And when it builds up high enough, you finally reach the -70. Does that make sense? And so as this builds up, eventually as this pumps in the 2 potassium that it usually pumps in, pumps out the 3 sodium, it'll reach a point where it's kind of like, it'll pump those in and it becomes -68, then it pumps 2 out and it becomes -70. It pumps 2 in, -68 or so, then -70. Does that make sense? So as it pushes some in, it's going to push some out. And it's kind of equilibrium because it's just going to stay in a happy spot for it, right? Until we have a ligand come by. This ligand attaches to this, opens this up. This would be what? Any clue? It could be like a ligand-gated
Sodium channel.
sodium channel, yeah. We're looking for like depolarization, right? Ligand-gated. It could be a calcium channel, it could be a number of channels, but we'll talk about sodium, at least in this case, because we want it to depolarize. So we were at -70. A ligand comes by, says, hey, we fit together. Let's hook up. So it hooks up, and some sodium starts leaking in through this channel. Enough sodium that it reaches threshold. What's threshold?
-50.
-50. What does -50 mean?
Closer to 0.
It's closer to 0, right? So it's a higher voltage. And so it's high enough to activate 2 channels. Which 2 channels?
Potassium.
Potassium and
Calcium. No, not sodium.
sodium, right?
Sorry.
So they're both voltage gated. So we'll just write a K here and an A there. So which one opens slowly?
Potassium.
Potassium. Which one does calcium rest on?
Sodium.
Sodium.
Does it?
I think just sodium.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So rest on sodium. And so what pushes the calcium off?
Is it the charge difference?
It's the charge difference. So we have positive ions running in here and it acts like a positive magnet. 2 positives together pushes it away. That makes sense? So these guys leave, channel opens up, and this sodium that's outside the cell rushes in really quickly. This finally opens right around this point, which is when these channels are closing. So if these are opening, what's going to happen to potassium? Is it high in the cell or low in the cell?
It's high in the cell.
So where's it going to go?
Out.
Out, right? So it's going to rush out, leaving behind a whole bunch of negatives that no longer have a positive partner, And if the cell's becoming more negative, it's going to drop down to here. Right about there, potassium channel's closed, right? But the pump's working the whole time, so it's been pumping out the sodium ions. And finally, we're going to pump in enough potassium that we would reach this equilibrium point. Now we're happy again. Make sense? Okay, ready to move on? Questions?